It's time for Don and Ron. You won't get this anywhere else.
All right, folks, welcome to another edition of Don and Ron. I'm Don.
And I'm Ron.
Here today we're going to be talking about one of the accessories we think is probably the most sought after people ask us on, and that's putting in an auxiliary tank in the left-hand wing. You can do left and right, but you know, primarily you can do the left-hand tank, and it works really good because the slipstream of the prop. Now the airplane kind of leans to the right a little bit anyway. A little bit of fuel in that left-hand wing kind of stabilizes it out. But look right here, there is a sticker. My brother doesn't know how to read, so I'll have to read it for him. But it says, stop, you must check this for leaks. You can put water, you can put fuel in it. Either way you want to go, it's not a problem. Because these, you know, nowadays you have problems with shipping. Shipping, they'll damage them, beat them up, and heaven forbid the guys at Wag Aero and Aero Fabricators, you know, has a bad weld. But in shipping it could crack. So anyway, so you want to test it. So stop in the name of love. Oh, there we go. We don't want to sing again, do we? I'm sorry about that.
Definitely not.
Anyway, so we're going to put the tank in. This particular one is a 12-gallon wing tank. It really does a good job. You know, like when you're out making a long cross-country flight with a Cub, like you're going, you're only going to go a couple hours away and a couple hours back.
You want that peace of mind.
Need that fuel. Well, when you get there, they might not have fuel.
Yep.
Or it may be windy where you're going to land and you don't want to land. So it's one of those deals that gives you that option to move on and kind of enjoy your flight and not have to worry about it. But anyway, it's a real simple process. Ron's going to slip it in place. All right. One of the things I want to mention, if you know, some people say don't use water. Water's good. H2O is good for you. Okay, keeps you from starving in the desert. But seriously though, if you're going to use water, put some alcohol in. Just get you some denatured alcohol, pour it in there, slosh it around. Make sure you get all that water out of there, because what does alcohol do? Combines with the water and gets it out of there for you. So anyway, so what we do is we go to the local leather shop and we get these just swatches of leather. Most of the time they'll give them to you, and we use these for two things. We'll switch places with Ron, and we'll let him show you what we do with these pieces of leather.
We get these in different thicknesses and stuff so that we can actually shim it and do the forward and back and get the positioning of the tank so it's centered so that you protect your spar as much as possible. You know, you can use different things, but the leather seems to be a real durable piece that works really fine. So we found that you can get different thicknesses and you can just shim the tank so that you get the perfect height between the top and the bottom, don't you, Don?
Yep.
And you know, and once you do that, you know, now you're ready to put your felt on so that you can head the cover. Don, tell me about that.
I tell you, you know, you see us switching around because, again, we want to make sure that the best looking guy is really here at the front of the camera. We got to keep the younger brother out of the way. So, but the leather, like I say, once we shim it and we put the layer of felt on top of it, you see you got these ridges on top of the tank, and what we want to do is we want to make sure it's a smooth transition and it give you the best installation. And the felt, that's what it does, because the fabric wants to kind of dip right in between the first and second rib here. And so by putting the felt on it, it gives it a nice smooth layer. It's very lightweight. The bottom really is never a problem. It's only the top. But anyway, you'll see shortly in another video coming up, we're going to have how we do the installation of the tubing. So tune in for that coming up, how we kind of tee it into the main tank so that you don't interfere with the fuel flow. But you know, you can buy this tank either with a sight gauge or without. You know, either way you want to do it. I don't personally do the sight gauge, because whenever I'm flying, I'll put the fuel into the main tank, watch the fuel bobber come up, and then I turn it off. And I know that I can do that, you know, 2 to 3 times, even 4 times during a flight. And when I land, I just make sure I fill this tank up every time. That's the one thing you don't want to do, is forget your wing tank, man. If you're going to use it, you better make sure you fuel it up, make sure it's at the top, so that you don't have to worry about knowing if you have that extra fuel to get you where you want to go. So
Placards.
And placards, yeah, you got, don't forget your placards inside the fuselage. You'll placard it that you got a 8-gallon or a 12-gallon or even a 6-gallon tank. Again, the guys at WAG Aero Fabricators make a wonderful little tank. It's a good product. Highly recommend that you do it. And I tell you, when you're building your airplane, if you're going to keep the airplane for a long time and you're not after the most period correct airplane, go ahead and put a left-hand wing tank in, for goodness sake. Go ahead and do it now. Don't wait till later when you say, well, I wish I had put that in there. Now you got to cut the fabric, you got to put it in, you got to do all the piping on a finished airplane. It's a lot easier to do it right now so that you don't have all that hassles and trouble. And you know, there's a lot of guys that are purists, like I said, they probably kind of get on you a little bit. Maybe I might do it. But I'm going to tell you, if you've got an everyday flyer, you're going to want a left-hand wing tank. Make sure you get one. Thanks again for joining another edition of Don
And Ron. Make sure, leave comments.
Comments, and you got to like?
Yep, and share, of course.
And subscribe, of course. We certainly appreciate all the people that are subscribing to what we're doing. We really enjoy what we're doing for you. And again, thanks again, and peace out from Don and Ron.